guys, welcome back to the Holyish podcast. It's your host here, JoJo. Super excited. You know, I got my co-host over here with me, Danny De Niro.
What up?
Yes. Super excited about today as well, y'all. Like this has been going. It's been going. Today, I'm especially excited because we're going to talk about some things that are really near and dear to me. It's the season of my life that I'm actually walking through myself, so it's very personal for me. Gonna let you guys in on a little insight about me. You'll get to know a little bit more of my background and my story and things of that nature. This is an introduction to a series. We're going to have a few episodes that follow up and everything's going to tie together. But the title of all of this is going to be The Cost of Being Aware. When you start healing, people don't talk about like what that cost you and what that actually looks like for an individual. They don't talk about how much you feel before you know. The feeling of disappointment, the feeling of being disregarded, just the feeling of responsibility. I know for me specifically, I have plenty of times where I miss when I just didn't know better. Because what they say, when you know better, you do better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I miss when I just didn't know better. The simplicity of ignorance, just being able to maneuver through and not know. But once you know, ignorance is bliss. And I know for me, for sure, like I said, I miss times where I just didn't know. And I was able to maneuver through just not knowing. Because, there's no accountability in the not knowing what you accountable for. Mm-hmm. So we're going to unpack a few things on this episode. I do want to ask Danny, like, what's your thought process on the cost of being aware? Like, what do you think before we start diving deep into some things? Like, any surface level?
Surface level.
We're not a surface level podcast.
The cost of being aware. The cost of being aware. Without knowing where we're going with this topic, when I hear the cost of being aware, it tells me that there's a price to pay in knowing. And how much of that price are you willing to pay to fully know? Yeah. So, for example, I would say, I'll use myself as an example. One of my last situations, I wanted it to work between us more than anything, right? Mm-hmm. But after a while, you start to see signs, right? You start to see signs, and sometimes the signs start talking to you. Signs start talking to you. They start telling you things like, this isn't it. No, stop, pump the brakes.
Say that.
But sometimes we just want to ignore those signs. We just like, no, I want this to work. This is it. This is what I've been waiting for. And you'll just be blind to the signs. I sound like Fraser there. Blind to the signs.
That's already
blind to the signs.
We gotta fit that on.
But trademark. But blind to the signs, and you can't force nobody to do anything they don't want to do. You can't force nobody to be something that they're not. That's true. And after a while, I just realized that who I want, this isn't the person that I want. Yeah. Who I am, I'm not the person she thinks I am. And I had to go back to cost of. The way I had to pay the cost is I had to face the reality. I had to stomach the pain. I had to just be real with myself, and it hurt. Like, to be real with yourself, it hurts, because once you let that guard down and once you see the reality of things, now you start like now you start using discernment and making different decisions. Like, okay, well, I need to make my exit from this now, because now this is only bringing me down. Like, I'm less of a person today than I was when we first connected, and that's a problem. It's a problem, because I've always looked at like any kind of relationship, whether it's friendship, a working relationship, an intimate relationship, I always look at it like, as long as you leave out of there gaining something,
Absolutely.
then it was worth it.
It's supposed to add value. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Both ways.
But if you feel like you're not gaining anything and it's only taking from you, you got to get out of that. You got to separate yourself from that.
Strategy.
Yeah, and you got to just, it's like the umbilical cord. You got to just snip it. You got to just be done with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't want to drag it out, but yeah, so that's eventually what I did with that, and I just bit the pain bullet. I was like, this is what I got to do. Like, this isn't meant to be. Like, this person is not for me, and all I'm doing is blocking my blessings. Like, the more I sit here and try to make it work with this, I'm missing out on this. So that's my interpretation of that. When you tell me that, like, that's like an example
it's like
of
perfect. It's right spot on for what we're diving into, for sure. Just on the last thing that you said, I just wanted to point out that, like, it's one of those things where you ever heard anybody say, like, you got your hands full so you can't catch the blessing that God is trying to give you. Like, sometimes he wants you to lay some things down so he can pass you the blessing, so he can give you the things, but you can't catch it because you just busy holding all of this stuff that is weighing you down, essentially. And so yeah, that's beautiful. I love it, for sure. I know for me, discernment was a big transition in my life, because honestly, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know the word. And I actually can share with you guys how I came across the term discernment before I even knew what it meant, let alone was able to apply it to my life. It was like actually during COVID, I believe, probably maybe a little bit after, I was on Clubhouse, and I'm here and I'm talking to all of these different strangers and people, and we're getting to know each other through this app. And one girl, don't remember her name, don't remember, much about
Shout out that one girl.
But shout out to her, because she was the first person who mentioned that word to me, and it stuck. I'm sure I heard it before then. I'm sure it wasn't my first time hearing it in life, but that was the first time where it resonated with me, and it made me want to dig deeper into that and what that meant. So, she told me, she was like, Jordan, I'm listening to you talk, and you're very wise. You have a lot of wisdom, but I think you need to pray and ask God for discernment. And I was like, okay. And it's like, I heard that term before, but, and after I was done with that, well, not even done with that, but I got off for the day or whatever that was, I went and I looked that word up. And when I found the definition, I took it a step further and things of that nature. And I started like wanting to just understand it better. So I went and I prayed for discernment before I even knew what it was, before I knew what I was praying for. I was praying and asking God. I took her instruction and I did it, and I was praying for this thing. And I don't know if any of you guys know, but when you pray for something, you better be careful what you pray for, because you're going to get it, and it's probably not going to come in the way that you think it's going to come. You're not going to wake up one day and just learn how to discern and just have this gift of knowing where you should be and where you shouldn't be. Usually, God puts you in positions where you can practice that thing that you're praying for, and that's exactly what happened for me.
Tell us about that position.
Yeah, it's it's tough, because sometimes it hurts you, sometimes it hurts people around you, because it's uncomfortable, and people get uncomfortable with change, and change isn't comfortable for everybody. So for me, it started small. Thank God for that. He did walk me through it in small doses, and it was just me learning to say no. It was me me just becoming aware that the environments that I was in it wasn't the soil that I could grow and I could flourish in. It wasn't giving me the nutrients that I needed. And it's not to say that the people I was around was bad. Just a little bit of background about me and how I grew up. You guys, my mom, shout out to her. Love you to pieces, mommy. Single mom, raised me and my siblings, all four of us. And honestly, the whole neighborhood. My mom was that mom who raised the entire neighborhood. If you were in the neighborhood, you can come, you can get you a hot meal, you got you somewhere to sleep. Your mama put you out, go catch the couch. Like, my house was that house where everybody could come. My mom used to call her room VIP. And you could go in VIP and you could talk about anything under the sun, and it wouldn't leave that room, and you would get some real raw, uncut wisdom, knowledge, prayer, whatever you needed. If you needed to smoke, I don't know, can I say that? Yeah. Look, if you needed to smoke a blunt, my mama was that mama that was going, we're going to smoke this thing out, we're going to talk this thing out, we're going to pray this thing out. So
we need more mamas like that.
And that's who she was, and that's who she is. So growing up in that environment, like I said, it wasn't bad. It made me who I am today. But I got to a point in my life where I had to make a decision to step outside of what was comfortable and what was familiar to me, and I had to step into the unknown. And that was not easy. It was scary. But once I did it and I saw the fruit that was on the other side of it, it started becoming like, natural for me to realize what environments suit me and what don't, what rooms I belong in, what rooms I don't belong in, what people deserve access to me, what people don't deserve access to me. And it didn't happen overnight. I went through a lot of ups and downs with that, but ultimately it started small. It started off with a no, learning how to say no, whether that be someone calling and asking for something, or somebody just asking for access. It doesn't have to even be like monetary or material things, but people just asking for access that you probably don't have the capacity to give at that time, or they did not earn. You know what I mean? And I think that's just very important, allowing people to, I want to say it like this, teaching people how to treat you. Because when we do that, we then protect ourselves. And you don't have to be mean about it. You don't have to be nasty about it. And I had to learn that, because I don't know if I mentioned that in like our first episode, I'm a little firecracker, but I'm learning and I'm growing through that, and I'm learning that you can just say no, and that's a complete sentence. It's that simple. And when people don't like it, it's usually because it's different and it's not what they're used to, but it doesn't mean that it's wrong. And they will then adjust, and if they don't, so be it. It doesn't mean you love them any less. It doesn't mean you respect them any less, but you're just teaching people how to treat you. So I know that was a big thing for me. So to tie that in, I think discernment helps you see what's aligned. Discernment can leave you overwhelmed if you have discernment without boundaries. And I think that that's when it becomes very important. Like, they have to go hand in hand. And that's going to tie in the whole series, because you have discernment, so you know what it is, but you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
You're recognizing, okay, this room doesn't suit me. This crowd of people doesn't suit me. These people aren't my real friends. But what do you do about it? And that's where boundaries come into play. You have to learn how to set boundaries, and you have to learn how to enforce those boundaries. Because if you just set it and don't enforce it, not only with the people, but with yourself too. Like, you have to stand 10 toes on those boundaries, and it's easier said than done. It's something that you got to pray through. You got to work through. At least I had to. I'm not telling you guys what you got to do, but I would recommend that you pray through it and you work through it, because that's what worked for me. But yeah, so praying through it, working through it, spending that time with God, that intimate time alone, it builds your character, and it helps you to actually figure out what your worth is. I know a lot of people say, oh, you don't value yourself, you don't know your worth, or this, that, and the third. And that's a common phrase that's thrown around. And I think oftentimes we have all these common phrases, but they're just words until you really add meaning to them, until you really add experience to them, until you really go through it and really experience it. They're just words. And yeah, I don't know.
No, you hit the nail on the head with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, add some meaning to those words for sure.
Yeah.
And it's funny, you were talking about, surrounding yourself with, and putting yourself in rooms that you feel comfortable and whatnot in. And the whole time while you're sitting there saying that, I'm just thinking to myself, for those of you that don't know, I'm a Gemini, and we're like, first of all, we're not easy. We're not even easy to have a relationship with. If you got a relationship with a Gemini and everything is all good, hats off to you. But me, I got one of the strongest cutoff games in the world. If I'm not feeling something, dead.
That's good though.
Immediate. It's just dead to me.
Good.
I remove myself from the room. I remove myself from that situation. The minute I don't want it, I don't have it anymore.
I don't have it, yeah.
Cool.
Love that.
I'm not stressing myself out over it. I'm not getting bent out of shape. I'm not raising my blood pressure. I'm not doing any of that. And it's not even like that I'm scared of any kind of confrontation, because I welcome it. Mm-hmm. That side of me. You talking about the firecracker.
That's what I'm saying.
If you was a firecracker, I'm an M80.
I'm a ticking bomb, baby.
I'm boom. I'm big boom. But I don't like this. I don't like to be that guy if I can
not
control
proper.
it, because once I see red, then I see red, and it's a wrap.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm real big on just like on my peace. I'm real big on my peace, and I will remove myself from situations immediately if it doesn't serve me, because I'm good. I'm good on that. Like, I'm not gonna argue with somebody if I don't even think that they're even making any sense.
Right.
Like, because there's nothing wrong with
A healthy debate.
a healthy debate.
I love those.
Because I love to be educated.
Absolutely.
If you
Give me
know something,
perspective. Absolutely.
if we're not on the same page, and you can talk some sense into me, I welcome that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I welcome that. But if you're not making any kind of sense, I'm not going to hear anything that you're saying. So I'm not even going to engage in all this. I'm gonna just give it to you. I'm gonna be like, you got it. And I'm gonna just keep it moving. Like, mum's the word. Like, I'm cool.
No, I think that's a quiet superpower, to be able to do that. Because I'll speak and say that I know everyone isn't like that, and if you are like that, that's a superpower. To be able to recognize that off bat. I know for me, it took work for me to get there, and I'm still getting there.
Yeah.
So I'm just advocating for those of us who it don't come that easy. Sometimes we gotta, and it's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing broken about it. You recognize it, you correct it, you do what needs to be done to make yourself better. So that's what this is all about. It's about growing and evolving. So I think that's pretty dope. That's a superpower, friend.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, don't be blind to the signs.
Yeah, we gotta recognize those signs, man, because they're always there, and our intuition always lets us know. They always try to put it on women's intuition, but no, we all have an intuition, and listen to yourself, trust yourself. Honestly, I can say that I learned that too not too long ago, like what that truly meant. I put meaning to those words, I should say. I love that, actually. To what it means to actually trust yourself, because sometimes we don't have enough trust in ourselves, and that's a dangerous person. I'm sorry, that's scary, but we've lied to ourselves so many times. We've gone against the grain. We didn't stand 10 toes on those boundaries that we set so many times that now our nervous system is only responding to what it's only seen. You say this, but you do that. You say you're gonna move like this, but then you move like that, and now you don't trust yourself. Your intuition isn't, like, not even your intuition, but your nervous system can't trust what you're gonna do next and what you're not gonna do, because you're sending it mixed signals. So when you get in alignment with those, that's powerful. When you get in alignment with that, and your words are getting in alignment with your actions, and I'll put it like this: spirit, mind, and body. Your spirit already chooses first. Your mind quickly agrees. It's usually that body that takes a little minute to catch up. And once you get all three of those things in alignment in that order, then you're building a trust relationship with yourself. So now you trust how you're going to respond in situations. You can now trust how you're going to react to certain things or not react to certain things. You know what I mean? And what you're going to invite and allow in your space. So, yeah, I think that's pretty powerful.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Sorry, y'all. Got a little
good,
cue over here, Yeah, that's what I got over here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I was gonna ask you something though. What would you say to the people who, that it doesn't come that easy for? Like, where it's like, obviously it's a maturity thing, it's a growth thing, like it comes with experience, but anything that you would say to people, maybe younger people, maybe older people who just haven't quite figured it out yet,
I would say, especially with younger people, this is hard. This is going to be real hard for you. This is going to be real hard for you, because trust me, it was hard for me. Stop and listen. Stop and listen. If you're always talking, you can't listen.
2 ears, 1 mouth. I had to learn that too, y'all. Like, look, yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
I think that's solid advice.
Yeah, because if you take a moment to just hear, whether it's your environment, whether it's a person, whether it's your circumstances, just take a second to stop and listen.
Yeah.
And the third callback: don't be blind to the signs.
Yeah.
The answer is right in front of you.
And it may not even, sorry, I just want to piggyback. It may not even resonate right then and there, you know, because I know for me, a lot of stuff that people said to me when I was younger, it started to play back later when I found myself in those situations. And I'm like, oh, this is what they were talking about. Oh, this is what they meant by that.
Yep.
Or, oh, actually, I know how to do this because so it may not resonate and it may not make sense to the season that you're in that moment.
Yep.
But hold on to those gems when you got older people dropping gems on you, or even, I don't want to discredit the younger people either, because I was one of those young people who was dropping gems to the old people, you know what I mean? So it can go both ways, but just knowledge in general, wisdom in general, anything like he was saying earlier that makes sense, is like, oh, like there's some logic to that, like, oh, I could see how that could make sense. Hold on to those certain gems, because you never know where you'll find yourself in the next season or the next area of your life where it resonates and it makes perfect sense, and now you have the blueprint for you to navigate those situations.
Exactly. So that would be my advice, is just stop and listen. Yeah. Take a moment to take it all in, whatever it is.
That's really good stuff.
Yeah, that's what I would do. That's good stuff. That's also a sense of discernment as well. You know, it's a decision you got to make, and you want to be at peace with it, and you want to just take the time to just understand things fully, clearly. Because if you're just doing this, you're not taking the time to figure out your thoughts. Yeah. You know, it's like I'll sit down with somebody, and if I'm having like a heart to heart, sometimes I might not have the words right then and there, that I want to say. Sometimes I might have to like just put a pin in that conversation and come back to it after I've had some time to think.
Absolutely.
Because I'm one of those people, I like to get my point across. Yeah. So if I don't have the tools at that moment to get my point across, then I feel like it's pointless. So I'm going to wait until I have the tools. I'm going to put my thoughts together.
Absolutely.
If I got to put it to pen to paper, then I'll do that. But I want to approach the situation with all the tools that I need to advance.
Yeah, that's so real. I think that's something powerful in that altogether. Like, even if you break that down, like just that pause, that something... something profound happens in the pause, you know. Something really holy happens in the pause, that time in between. God, I love you so much, because he's like, oh God, I love you. Something so profound happens in the pause, that middle, that in between stage, that area where it's quiet, where you're actually listening, whether that be to someone who's dropping some gems, someone who's giving some wisdom, or that just be that quiet time where you're actually able to listen to God, listen to what he's directing you, listen to what he's telling you to do, listen to where he's guiding you. Because oftentimes we're praying for God to guide us, we're praying for God to do this in our lives and do that in our lives, but he's trying to give us the blueprint, but we're busy talking, distracted, dealing with this person, that person, the job, the stress, the bills, the this, the that we haven't quieted. I don't think that's a word, but we haven't gotten a quiet place long enough to be able to hear, to be able to listen, to be able to feel the words that he's literally trying to write in on our hearts. And I think that that's something that's important to be spoken about.
Sure. You'll miss the message. To go right past you. Yep. So yeah, just take the time. Be patient, and a clear mind is going to tell you a whole lot more than a mind that's just cluttered, full of fog. Yeah.
That's good stuff. Yeah. That's good stuff, for real, y'all. But listen, Daddy over here, look, he got the gems for you for sure.
Yeah, don't let this baby face fool you. I've been on Earth a long time.
He said, I'm a little seasoned out here,
you know what I'm saying? Seasoned. Back when I was in high school, we had little brontosauruses we used to ride up on. Like Flintstones.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
look.
Y'all had, what is that? What is that? It's like a dinosaur.
She's like a Buick?
Facts. I'm like, I was like, Bronco? Wait.
That's hilarious.
That's hilarious. But yeah. My guy's been around, so he knows a thing or two.
Yep.
I think that's actually a good little point too. For me personally, I don't know what it was, but I was always just, I don't know if the word is attracted to, but just more so drawn to people who were older than me. Like, even in high school, like, by the time I was graduating, don't get me wrong, it was a few people in my class that, you know, I was, like, locked in with for sure. They know who they are. But for the most part, like, all of my friends at the time, like, had already graduated, like, a year, 2 years before me. When I graduated, like, my dating life at that time, like, was significantly older than what I am. My friends, like, always had years. Still to this day, like, my majority of my friends, like, they have, like, years on me, and I just think it's something about, I mean, I got an old soul, so maybe that got something to do with it, but also just, I'm a lifelong learner, and I love to learn, I love to absorb as much as I can, and I just feel like, I mean, old heads be having a game, like, you gotta put yourself in the rooms where you can learn something, you better, like, put yourself around some people who could teach you something, versus, if you the smartest one in the room, you in the wrong room. If you got the most experience in the room, you in the wrong room. Like, get in some rooms with some people that can teach you something, that can show you something, that can, you know, guide you, or at least lead by example, like, that are doing something that you want to do, you know, like, and if you are the smartest person in the room and you are the most experienced person in the room, it's not necessarily the wrong room. Let me reword that, but make sure that you are making an impact in that room, that you are playing your role in that room, because you ain't there to learn nothing, so you better be teaching something. You know what I mean? So just make it make sense.
Yeah, put yourself in a space where everybody can level up.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's somebody helping you to get on their level, or you're helping somebody to get on your level.
Absolutely.
You know,
either way, we're evolving.
You know, even if you're the smartest person in the room, you still might be able to take something from that person, like maybe some inspiration or something that's going to help you grow.
Yeah.
You know, it's like one of my OGs once told me, birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
So you want to be around like-minded individuals, people that are striving, are trying to reach certain goals in life, are ambitious. You don't want to be around people that they're only going this way, because you're going to follow suit. If you are around people like that, you're eventually going to go down.
So good. So
you want to be on a trajectory always.
And if you haven't found those people yet, that's okay too. And it's okay for you to be by yourself in that waiting period, in that alone time, because in that gap, I should say, because don't just settle to be around people who aren't aligned with you, who aren't like-minded, just to be around people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it's okay for you to be alone and be by yourself, because you don't know what God is doing in you to put you in the rooms and around the people that you're supposed to be around. So don't sleep on the waiting period. Don't sleep on the waiting period. Like, you should be up alert in the waiting, like up and alert, getting ready, like taking notes, doing whatever you need to do, building yourself, building your character, working on you in that waiting period, and don't settle to just be around just people, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
You did that.
Yeah.
You did that.
You did that. We did that. Good stuff, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was good. We're going to be continuing this series on the cost of being aware. We love you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in to the Holyish Podcast, and we'll see you later. Love you.
Peace.